is going on down here? I don't know.
All of a sudden here, we started hearing screaming, buy, buy, buy.
The 2008 financial crisis was a wild ride for the global financial system. It was a time when the fabric of the economy was stretched to its limits and the entire world held its breath as massive banks and financial institutions teetered on the brink of collapse. In the calm before the storm, only one man could see the disaster coming, and his name was Michael Burry. Michael Burry was an eccentric hedge fund manager who saw the 2008 financial crisis coming from a mile away. He was convinced that the housing market was a bubble waiting to burst, so he made a bold move, betting against the housing market by purchasing credit default swaps, a type of insurance that pays out if a borrower cannot pay back their loan. When the crisis finally hit, Burry's bet paid off in a big way, making him and his investors massive profits while the rest of the world was struggling. Thanks, Michael. He also became known as one of the very few people who saw the crisis coming and profited from it, cementing his reputation as a legendary investor and a hero to some, but a villain to most. Michael Burry's bet on the 2008 financial crisis is a tale of vision, courage, and perseverance that will be remembered for years to come and was made into a movie, so that's really great for him. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive into how this mastermind managed to predict a massive financial crash that no one else could foresee. In doing this, you might also catch on to some unique ways of looking at markets that can offer you similar advantages. But stick around until the end and we'll take a look at Michael Burry's latest prediction for the future market that is going to impact everyone on the globe and a few people on Mars, but that's a whole different video. But this is a guy that you need to be listening to nonetheless. The financial crisis was caused by a combination of risky lending practices, toxic mortgage-backed securities, and a housing market bubble that finally burst. As the situation escalated, the government had to step in with massive bailouts to prevent a complete meltdown. But the crisis had far-reaching consequences, leading to a deep recession, high unemployment, and a widespread loss of trust in the financial system. Yet, it was also a time of incredible resilience and ingenuity, as governments and central banks worked together to stabilize the markets and set the stage for a slow but steady recovery. In short, the 2008 financial crisis was a pivotal moment in history that changed the financial world forever. Michael Burry was a neuro-ophthalmologist turned hedge fund manager. Classic story. He spent the earlier years of his career putting in thousands of hours towards understanding the inner workings of our brains and how they manifest in our vision. Of course, though, this isn't what he's known for now. Michael started his own hedge fund, Scion Capital, in 2000, with a focus on value investing. He was known for his unconventional approach and his tendency to buck the trend, which often put him at odds with the rest of the financial community. He was also known for his meticulous research and analysis, as he spent countless hours poring over financial reports and company data to uncover hidden value in the market. You might say that Burry's insane attention to detail was due to his time spent in higher education and the medical field. While this is certainly true, his own unique mental makeup, characterized by his autism, played a role in his uncanny talent for analyzing large amounts of data and understanding the cause and effects of the financial market. However, despite his unorthodox style, Burry's fund was a huge success, delivering impressive returns year after year and attracting more and more investors. By the time the 2008 financial crisis hit, Michael Burry had already established himself as a successful and enigmatic figure in the world of finance, and his bet on the housing market would only add to his legacy. The way that he determined that a financial crash was coming in 2008 was by analyzing the housing market and the mortgage-backed securities that were based on it. He saw that the housing market was fueled by easy credit and low interest rates, which had led to an unprecedented boom in home buying. This wasn't the clue that tipped him off to his discovery, though. This just appeared to be a happy time in the market for everyone. However, what he did see was that a large percentage of the loans being made were subprime, meaning that they were given to borrowers with questionable credits. He realized that these loans were often bundled together into mortgage-backed securities and sold to investors as low-risk investments. In other words, these securities were supposed to be safe investments because the loans that were feeding them were held by people who would definitely pay them back. At least, that's what they were supposed to do. However, because of the risk that lurked beneath the surface of these securities, he believed that it represented a dangerous illusion. These securities were based on loans that were likely to default. He predicted that if the housing market crashed, worst, these securities would lose their value, leading to widespread losses and a potential financial crisis. I'm sure that won't happen, right? But by purchasing credit default swaps, he was essentially betting that the housing market would crash, and his bet paid off in a big way when the crisis finally hit in 2008. Touche, Michael, you got me there. I didn't see that one coming. Although you might think this is his first big prophecy, there's another one that he's made that may pay off once again, but you'll have to wait until the end of the video to hear about it. So as always, there are winners and losers in every trade made in the market. Someone has to buy and someone else has to sell. You can imagine that if nearly everyone was losing money, then the one betting in the other direction was making a lot of money. Burry made profits of roughly 300% on his trades that year, although the exact numbers were not disclosed. This comes out to roughly $100 million for himself and $700 million for his investors. Not too shabby, Michael. Generally, if you can see things in the market that others don't, you stand to make yourself very wealthy. Of course, these things are once in a blue moon. The economy continually goes through cycles of growth and loss, and with it comes unique situations just waiting patiently for the intelligent investor to recognize them. In fact, we may be on the cusp of another great opportunity with our current financial market. Burry is sounding the alarm on social media, warning that inflation is just getting started. After reaching its peak, he predicts it will once again surge to new heights in a familiar cycle as the economy slows down and the mighty Federal Reserve steps in to prop up a sinking economy. Let's take a look at what sorts of insights Michael Burry has been laying out on social media. These are clues and hints for another huge investment opportunity, so if you know which direction the market is headed, it can change everything for you financially. So in September of 2022, he laid out his viewpoint in a short tweet that said nothing more than crypto crash, check, meme crash, check, SPAC crash, check, inflation, check, 2000, check, 2008, check, 2022, check. Great stuff, Michael. Thank you for the tweet. But I promise you, we're getting somewhere, because Michael is pointing out very clearly how trends seem to repeat themselves. Much like in 2000 and 2008, overvalued investments are losing steam and pulling the entire economy down with them. Much like these past financial crises, the odds of this leading to a recession are pretty high. And in a tweet that has since been deleted because he apparently likes to do that, Burry said that all hype/speculation is doing is drawing in retail before the mother of all crashes. Hashtag FOMO parabolas don't resolve sideways. When crypto falls from trillions or meme stocks fall from tens of billions, hashtag Main Street losses will approach the size of countries. History ain't changed. Can I just say that was very difficult to read? I'm sure he has a point there, but like speaking in Twitter language and trying to formulate that in just natural vernacular doesn't really make it easy. But in early January of this year, he tweeted inflation peaked, but it is not the last peak of this cycle. We are likely to see CPI lower, possibly negative in 2H 2023, and the US in recession by any definition. Fed will cut and government will stimulate, and we will have another inflation spike. It's not hard. Burry says that the US will find itself in a recession by any definition. He puts it this way because the federal government and large financial institutions can have funny definitions of what makes a recession. Often these are revised to better fit the modern economy, but the point here is that regardless of how you define a recession, Michael Burry says we are headed in that direction. Use this information how you will. If you trust in Michael Burry and want to follow his strategy, you could seek out the most vulnerable investment options and short them, betting on a recession, and maybe you can have a movie made about you. But as for the time being, we are still waiting to see if his predictions are fully realized. While we brace ourselves for tough economic times, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It shows your support and allows us to keep creating content like this. But as for this video, that's all we have in store for today. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.